Hey guys, welcome to week 2 of my 5x5 improvement. I think my PB from the first week was about 135 or something, and my PB average of 5 now is 133, which is really nice. So here I have a sub 130 solve. I didn't record a lot of solves, but I think my PB single is around 126. And I've gotten to 127 at least like 7 or 8 times. Sometimes I average around 141, sometimes I average around 135. So it's still fluctuating a lot depending on how tired I am. And yeah, because 5x5 takes a lot of look ahead, and I'm still sort of new. Sometimes I make a lot of mistakes. Also, one thing I noticed with the WuShuang is it's really, really slow unless I put in a lot of lube. Then it starts to get a lot better. So I noticed some people in the comments as well saying that they use the WuShuang, but they think it's a little bit too slow. So if you're doing big cubes or any cube that kind of puts a strain on your hands, make sure you lube it. It seems like it's something you can avoid by just turning harder, but just think about the cost of lube and compare it to what if you injured your hands. Because like it's one thing to overuse your large muscle groups, but in your hands are some pretty small muscle groups, and people tend to injure themselves there, and not even from doing something as strenuous as cubing. So make sure you guys lube your big cubes and take care of your hands. All right, so if you don't want to see the rest of the speed solve, you can skip to the time on the screen to go to what I've learned this week. So here we're on last two centers, and before I would used to do last two centers intuitively, but then there are a lot of cases that you run into over and over. So specifically what I'm talking about for last two centers is after you make your 2x3 on the front, then how to deal with like the last 3 pieces. So of course it's quite obvious what to do. If you have a bar on top already, this is the best case. You just insert it like that. Or if you have one corner down here and then the two other center pieces up here are matched together, so that you can just insert them together like that. So those cases are rather straightforward, but then it was the other cases that at first I had some trouble with. So then we have this one here where we have the corner down here and the edges up here, where when you lift up the corner, it doesn't match, and there's no way you can lift it up to make a 1x3 bar. So this is also one of the easier cases, but I'll just go through it now. So what I just do is I put the pair over here or over here, and then what you can do is lift the corner up and then move it down into the other spot. And then now you've reduced it to the previous case that I showed where you just insert it like this. So here's some cases I saw really early on that I didn't know what to do with. So when you have the corner and the pair both in the top layer, then you can just do a 2-gen algorithm and that can solve it. And at first I would just play around with the corner and the edge, but then now I think I've memorized all of them. So if they're both like this together, then what you can just do is like 2 reverse sexy moves like that. And then again, the pair at the bottom, but this time the corner is over here. Then you can just do RU2 R prime, and that sets it up. Then when you have the corner and edge center pair at the top, then you can do 2 sexy moves like this. Then when it's like this and this, then it's the RU2R prime again. Then just insert it like that. Now we have a case where all 3 of them are split up. So this can be in 2 different cases. Either the corner's up here or the corner's over here. And if you can match these up in a way so that this corner is still in the top layer, because if it was over here, it would have gotten pushed away. So if the corner's still in the top layer, then just do U and insert the corner. Then do this case. And then the other case I was talking about, so this time we have all 3 split up, but this time when you match this corner with this edge, the other corner gets pushed off into the back layer. Then you can just do U2, and that pairs them up, then just insert. Then one more thing I noticed for last 2 centers is if I make a T on the front face, then of course what you want to do with a T in any case is to put one edge center into the intersection, and then you can make a 2x3 bar like that. So obviously this one works out very well when you have the 3x1 bar separated from the one other edge piece. Then you can just insert the 3x1 bar afterwards easily. Now it's less obvious what to do if the 3x1 bar is attached to the edge, because if you insert the edge into here, then if you do F, then you end up with this case. And if you do F prime, you end up with this case. So either of these 2 cases, they're not bad, but they could be better. So I experimented a little bit and I realized for this case, you're supposed to insert the 3x1 bar instead. Then here, your choice between F and F prime is pretty important. So if you choose to do F here, then you'll end up with this. And for this, you can just insert like that. So this is actually the best way to do it, I think. Then if you insert it with F prime, then you end up with this case, which is not very nice. So in that case, for this L shape, what I just usually do is watch the far corner and try to get it attached to this edge. So that would mean attach it with F. Now here we have the same case, but the edge is on the far side instead. So again, insert the 3x1 bar onto the T. Then this time I'm watching this corner, which is the farthest one from the edge center. So I'll do F prime here so that these 2 will attach, and then I can just insert like that. And one more case that's super easy is when you have one corner that needs to go in like that. What I used to do in this case is get the two corners onto the same spot and then do a commutator, which looks like this. So I don't really want to explain commutators. If you can do 6x6 and 7x7, you should know how to do them. It's just like moving a piece from here down into here. So the thing with this particular commutator is it's not a bad algorithm, but since I'm using Yao 5, then I'll have cross pieces here and that will seriously mess up my cross pieces, or it'll just be really slow if I try to preserve them. So instead there's a nice 2-gen algorithm. So you always want to put this corner on the top right. Then for this one, you can either put it on the top left or the bottom right. So if you put it on the bottom right, you can just do soon with wide R turns. So like this. Then if it's on the top left, then you can do anti-soon. So there might be some cases I didn't cover, but the thing is when you get a 2x3 bar done for last two centers, then you can do the rest of it 2-gen. And if you're not doing it 2-gen, then you should figure out a way to do it that way. And by 2-gen, I just mean like R and U moves. So that makes it good for Yao 5 and also fast for regular reduction. All right, so that's it for this week on 5x5 and see you all next week.